Pastor Nico Kleynhans.
Good morning to you and also to the listeners.
Nico, today we're talking about an interesting topic, and it's one of those things that can cause family feuds and on the other side a time of great pressure, weddings, because love normally leads to engagement and then weddings.
Yes. And as a public service announcement, I'm going to issue a warning to you guys from personal experience. During the planning of a wedding, you're going to be asked for your opinion.
Oh, yes.
You need to be very, very careful. For instance, if you're shown 3 bouquets of flowers, and the flowers are each bunch are white, and you've got to decide which is the correct bunch. It's a trap question.
Yeah.
The answer you must give is not which bowl is the cheapest. I know that is the wrong
That's
question.
definitely
to
the
ask.
wrong.
Yeah, it
So
is.
at a time like that, you turn to your spouse and you allow, or your proposed spouse, and you allow them to guide you to where they're looking.
Exactly.
And that is the correct answer.
That is. Come on, guys. You've
Now-
got to get this right.
Getting ready for the wedding was a lot easier when I was a youngster at home, because the rules were set clearly. Dad knew that as the father's bride, his responsibility was for the costs. He had to pay for the catering. He had to pay for the church service. He had to pay for the honeymoon. The groom's father had to pay for the drinks, the soft and the hard drinks. It was simple and clear. The woman made all the other decisions. They had one meeting with the bride in which men were absolutely not invited. I think we were on the agenda at that meeting.
Probably.
And then there was another meeting when the rest of the things were being planned. But it was simple, clear. Now, in South Africa in the 21st century, planning a wedding is much more complicated. Thanks to the African National Congress, we now have to decide, can the venues operate during load shedding? How are we going to get sound in the church if there's load shedding? How is the caterer going to serve hot food if we've got level 6 load shedding? That is a stressful exercise, and it means we've got to do a lot more homework. But what else has become critical that we really need to know about today? You see, when a couple agrees to marry, they've probably had discussion on, are we going to have family? Are we going to have kids? How many kids? Where are we going to live? They've had that discussion. But they probably haven't had discussion around finances. And you know what? Here's the secret. More of your time as a married couple is going to be around finances, debt, and strategy than you realize right now. And you may as well start that exercise prior to your marriage, because it is unlikely that you're both going to have the same attitude towards debt. It is unlikely that you're both going to have the same attitude towards savings. It is unlikely you're both going to have the attitude towards goal setting. If a new motor car is going to be bought, one of you are going to want a car that's 200,000 rand more expensive. And the other one is going to want to make sure the kids get their education done, and that bill gets paid. That becomes a stressful exercise. The other discussion that doesn't happen is which of the marriage laws you're going to use when you get married. You can't make that decision at the last minute because that's too late already. So we have community of property. Now, community of property, the best way I can describe it is you've got one wallet. Anybody in that relationship can take money out of the wallet, and it doesn't matter who puts the money in the wallet. So community of property means it's a wallet that gets shared. And if you don't know what your partner's attitude towards debt, spending, and all of that is ahead of time, That's going to put a strain on your marriage. A second act that you can use to get married is antenuptial with accrual. Now, what that says is what you bring into your marriage is yours until the day of your marriage. What your partner brings into the marriage is theirs until the day they get married. And at that point, you begin to share. So if you're bringing a house in, that house can't be sold by your partner. That's what the antenuptial without accrual means. With accrual means. Then you get another antenuptial, which says what is yours and what is mine is mine. They never mix. Now, that was designed when one of the partners is likely to go into business, and you don't want to put the whole family finance, make it vulnerable, because if that business goes belly up, the family loses all of their assets. So the antenuptial without accrual protects in that situation. So when you're preparing for marriage, you need to have a lot of discussions ahead of time. And you need to consult with people who have the legal background to guide you through some of the financial planning issues ahead of time, so that when you start, you stand a fighting chance to deal with some of those conflicts that are going to happen anyway. Have a good day.
Thank you, Nick.